Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. So this is post-Olympics Q&A. So I got a lot of questions on the same topic, so I've kind of just broken it down and so that I'm not rambling on forever, but let's get straight into it. So the first one that was asked quite a lot was my favourite part of the village. So my favourite part of the village was definitely the view, and hopefully that doesn't sound too cheesy, but every single morning when I woke up, opened the curtains onto our balcony, it was just unbelievable, and it just was a pinch me moment, like I'm here at the Olympics. On one side was the flag walkway and it was just incredible, and then on the other side you had the Olympic rings and you could see the water in the background, and like the sun was shining every day, and obviously you've got all the other apartment buildings with all the flags on, and there was always people sort of walking around on the grass below, and yeah, it was just like wow, every morning made me feel so grateful to be there, and that was my favourite part. And another frequent question that I got was, if I can get back to it, okay, so another question was about the food. So the food was also a favourite part of mine in the village. So the dining hall was 2 stories and it was incredible. Every single cuisine you can think of was there, and my favourite was probably the sushi. Obviously it was great in Japan, and then also the pizza. I don't know what they do to their pizza, but it was unbelievable. And if anyone knows me, you know, like I have eaten a lot of pizza in my days, and that was up there. It was really good pizza. And there was also this area called casual dining, so that was a separate little dining area where they stuck to a proper Japanese cuisine. So there was a lot of tempura, some sticky rice with this, I don't know what it was on top, but it was delicious. There was some sort of curried vegetables and meats and stuff like that, and then there was lots of miso soups and other sort of vegetables, and the food in there was just unbelievable. I swear my mouth's watering a bit just thinking of it, but yeah, so good. The food was amazing, and we also had obviously just like free drinks, and there was also a little snack bar at the bottom of each of the apartment buildings that was open sort of into the afternoon from the morning, and there was these sandwiches that were just like the fluffiest white bread ever, filled with chocolate that was basically just Nutella. It was like pre-packaged like that. Did Vince get the shoes? This was a common question as well. No, he didn't. So he was thinking about it, and everyone that knows Vince or follows him on my Daily Dose of Vince Instagram account that I have for him knows he loves a multicoloured sock, shoe, shirt, but he just thought they were a bit too out there, and they were quite expensive. Everything in the merchandise shop was expensive. Yeah, he just wasn't quite feeling it, so he didn't get them. So sorry to disappoint if you wanted to see Vince rocking them shoes. Okay, so obviously another massive question I kept getting was about my knee injury, and also how did I feel becoming an Olympian. So I'm just going to kind of break it down, tell the story of the whole process, just so it answers everyone's different questions about that. So prior to leaving, literally the day before leaving for Tokyo, I hurt my knee, but just tweaked it. Like, we weren't too worried. We just thought it would calm down over the travel day and the next day that we had off as well. So yeah, we get there and it's not feeling bad to do sort of jumping and stuff like that with it, but it was still a little bit sore, so we thought we'll give it another day and then we'll start to just play it by ear. So another day goes by, could do a little bit more, but we still thought let's rest it one more day from like proper routine skills, and then the next day we tried to do more skills. So this was by then a couple of days before podium training, and so I did some vaults, just turned some vaults, and that was all right, that was fine. And then went to bars and did my bar routine to dismount with my coach spotting me, and then went to beam, and I could do flick out on the floor. I did side something free walk over, no problem. Did my jump, split jump half, and it was the leaps. Something was telling me don't try your leaps, and I think obviously that's my takeoff and landing leg, and yeah, something about the injury, just my gut was like, don't try your leaps. And obviously they are just leaps, so I thought if I could rest it for a few more days, like it's not something that really need to practice every single day. So obviously not ideal, because I'd love to be doing full routines, especially if I was going to compete all around. but I just really didn't want to make it worse and was kind of like just trying to save it for the competition if anything. So did my beam dismount on the floor, that too. That's the leg that I stand on and I swing the other leg. That was quite painful. But yeah, was feeling like okay, we made some progress. Still thought there was a chance to compete beam at the competition at this point, and then went to floor and did just a double twist. That was all right, and then did a double back with help, and that was all right. And by then I was like, okay, I think landing on 2 legs is actually fine for my knee. So thought let's go for a little set. So I was going to do like double back, double pike with help, and then a double twist just to get some stamina going and test the knee out some more. And so I was doing both the double backs with help, but this time I was feeling more confident, so I went a bit harder, and my coach said I jumped like a good foot higher that time. So the takeoff was fine, but when I landed my knee collapsed in again, and so it was really painful, and also kind of made me a bit shook again, because I was like, it was going so well today, like I hadn't had much pain at all. Obviously had a bit of apprehension on doing leaps, but yeah, like pain wise it hadn't been too bad. But that one was like, you could see there was some sort of weakness in the knee, something had gone on that just wasn't allowing it to stay like strong on the landing. So still the next day it didn't feel too bad, it didn't sort of swell up or anything like that, but we decided let's just do bars for podium training, and then we'll take it from there. So still was in the fitness gym, just doing some landings and just trying to get it stronger and all of that stuff. But anyway, so the day before podium training, routine was fine, did dismount with my coach just spotting me on the bar dismount, and then podium training warm up. My knee's feeling really good that day in the general warm up, so I was like running around, jumping on it, hopping on it, and so still was just planning to do bars. So go to do bar warm up, and my coach was like, do you want to spot on your dismount? And I was like, no, actually my knee's feeling good. So do my routine to the dismount, land, and the knee collapses inwards again. And this time, like obviously we don't know about having an MRI scan at each stage, but that was the time where it tore. I'm 99.9% sure. Maybe it had like baby tears in it, but that was the main one for sure. Still didn't think too much of it right at the time. It was painful, but sort of no more painful than the one a few days before on the tumble. We iced it straight away, took a bit of ibuprofen, and then obviously decided not to do a proper dismount out on the podium, but it didn't feel too bad. Tried a few beam skills out on the podium just for fun as well, and yeah, but it started to feel really stiff, and all the muscles in my thigh and like even in my calf were starting to tighten up that evening, and so when I woke up the next day it was really sore, but luckily the Jamaicans had booked me in for an MRI at the polyclinic, which is the hospital that was in the village, anyway, just because we were there was an MRI available, so we had that booked anyway. So that was the next morning right after podium. So go off to my MRI, I'm walking there, I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel good today, but still didn't think it was going to be too bad. And yeah, I had the MRI, and then the doctor's like, oh, is your coach around, can he come in and being with you when you get your results? And I was like, yikes, what does this mean? So my coach comes, and then the doctor obviously reveals that I've torn my ACL, and the shock that hit me, I was like, I just still didn't expect it. Now I look back, it kind of makes sense, but at the time, yeah, it just was like, what? Sorry, who, me? Yeah, so it was very clear. He obviously explained it with the MRI. They showed me some more like sort of structural tests they were doing with it, and yeah, I was just crying a bit. Obviously it's a big shock, wasn't really sure what was going to happen from there. Obviously this is my dream to compete at the Olympics, so yeah, but the doctors were so unbelievably amazing in that polyclinic. So the actual doctor that gave me my results and obviously had checked me out before the MRI, he then sort of took me to the place to get a knee brace fitted, where it's this German company, and they've got this scanner that you stand on the floor, scans your body, and then they make it like to really support exactly where you need in your injury, and I think it's sort of made to measure. It's a really good knee brace. And then he wasn't sure that they'd given me the right one, so he like went back and double checked. He was so nice, and then he took me to the physios and like explained everything to them, and then the physios were really good, and then he also kind of referred me to this taping expert for the next day. So the next day I went to this taping expert and he was unbelievable. Like loads of other doctors and staff in there were taking a video of him while he was taping me. Wake up, getting like ready, one of the best in the world. Literally doing my makeup, and then we get called into a meeting, me, my coach, and then some of the JOA staff, one of the doctors, and they strongly advised us against doing the whole routine. And at the time I was like, for my pride, I was like, I wanted to do it, and I did say that to them. And then when they kind of explained to me, obviously with the nerves, with the pressure, if one small thing goes wrong, obviously you can just damage the knee further, and obviously also just the backlash that you might get for kind of being a bit silly from doing hard moves when you've got such a bad injury. And I also didn't want my coach to get any backlash, so we all as a group thought that was the best decision. But I was really happy that they didn't withdraw me and they allowed me to compete and have my Olympic moment and become an Olympian. They were really, really, really lovely about that. So thank you so much to Gary, who was the head of delegation, and Dr. Cox, Dr. Jones for the Jamaican doctors, and my physio Audrey as well, and like I said before, all the doctors in the polyclinic, just yeah, like the whole team of people just allowing me to go out there and do my few toe-ons. But sorry for such a long story, but I just wanted to get all the details out there. But now to go on to like the second part of the question, which a lot of people asked me, was how did I feel? So I'm on the bus and I was a little bit teary, but kind of like tried to shake it off. And then when I got there, I was talking with Simone and with Ellie Black, and then with the girls in my group, and all of them were just so lovely. They've obviously seen me struggling with the knee all week, and they've kind of all just said similar things like, whatever you do out there, you're an Olympian. And it was Ellie that said like all the hard work was getting to this point, so just enjoy the moment kind of thing. So all of those comments coming from so many different people, especially the gymnasts that I just really respect, helped me to get into a positive frame of mind and to just really enjoy that moment. So I said to the girls in my group, like, I'm here for you, anything you need during the competition. I just wanted to be a good teammate. Obviously I've got lots of experience on that being in college, so I just thought, let's treat it like that. I'm here as a member of a team, my mixed group 8, and I wanted to help them have the best competition that they could, and then just enjoy my 11 seconds. So yeah, when I was going up there, I think there'd been a delay in one of the scores in our group, so I was last up anyway, and everyone I think had pretty much done. So everyone was watching me, and I heard all the other gymnasts, especially the USA girls from around the arena cheering for me, and that just made me smile so much. And then I did my toe-ons and did my present, and I heard this loud cheer, and it just meant the world to me. And then right then I was an Olympian, and it's just something that I've dreamt of my whole life, and no one can take it away from me now. And yes, it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to happen, but we made it happen. And yeah, it's a memory I'll treasure forever, especially just kind of getting all that support from my fellow gymnasts was just amazing. Yeah, okay, so hopefully you're still with me. I haven't bored you to death with the sound of my voice, but let's carry on. So was I disappointed not to compete? What did I wish I got to compete? So it's like such an inviting beam. It's just a calm, the blue colours and the wood in the arena just made me really want to get up and do my beam routine. So I did feel sad that I didn't get to do that and do sort of my signature move with my dismount on that beam. And I always look forward to competing for. I was feeling prepared, so it was just disappointing that that hard work kind of had to go to waste. But is it waste when I can call myself an Olympian? I think not. Transport to and from venues was another question that came up a few times. The transport, no, that was probably the worst part of the whole organisation of the Tokyo Games. So the buses to and from our trainings were like once every hour and a half. First day, well, some of the drivers and the volunteers don't have the best English, and obviously we don't have any Japanese. So I was with Barbara from Slovakia and her coach, and me and my coach, and there was a few other people on this bus. As we got on the bus, we double checked that we were going to the right venue. So we've turned up to the wrong place for training, but I found the warm-up gym and it looks sick. Okay, so we went to the wrong training venue and then we're with Slovakia.
Hey.
Slovakia rescued us, brought us to the right training centre.
This is so crazy.
But the wrong entrance, so now we're being walked to the training hall and we are late. We are quite late.
We are now on the first apparatus, 5 minutes.
Woo, organisation here is not great, unfortunately. So the fact that with COVID, we couldn't just hop on public transport of some sort or a taxi. So transport wasn't the greatest. I mean, it was clean and got us from A to B as long as you were on time and you knew where you were going. Okay. Sports I wish I'd watched. I wish I got to watch the 100-metre final for athletics, because for the women especially, because Jamaica dominated first, second and third, so that would have just been incredible to watch. How does training at the Olympics differ? The main difference is that obviously it's all on hard surfaces, so say at the gym one day you might want to tumble into a resi, or you might want to do some of your landings onto a softer surface if you're a bit tired that day, or just having a bit of a down day or rest day. But obviously all of the gyms in the training halls are hard landings, so that's difficult. And also it's just like set times, but times aren't bad. You get like almost half an hour on your longer sessions on each piece, and then you get about 15 minutes on the shortest sessions, and then you're just with your subdivision. And at the Olympics we actually always started on our competition piece. Sometimes they'll change that at Worlds and stuff, but for the Olympics it was always vault for my group, and yeah, whatever you were going to start on in your competition. And actually, just side note on training, I thought it was such a nice atmosphere this competition, like compared to past ones, Worlds and stuff. It's sometimes a bit of a frostiness where everyone's like, okay, it's my turn on the beam, like time's up, and like just a bit of a competitive edge to it. I'm talking more in the past, like when I was still with GB, but yeah, this time it was so supportive. Like everyone was just clapping for each other around the whole gym, and yeah, no one was like too bothered. Like if they'd finished early, the next group could easily move on, or if a group hadn't come to that session, then just go on their piece. It wasn't a big deal. And also another thing I noticed was a lot more people were only doing one session per day. So I think back in the day, again, like when I was with GB, back in those days, everyone would always be at both sessions every single day, and it was just like whoever trains the most is gonna get the best scores. But I think now everyone's seeing that rest and recovery is actually so valuable, so that was good to see. Yeah, okay. General team experience. So the girls in my group were just so lovely. I mentioned them briefly before, obviously in regards to my knee, and they were just so supportive, checking how it was each day, and even other girls in the subdivisions. Then once I had my brace on, like so many of the other gymnasts were just asking me how it was and stuff like that. But beyond that, we were all really cheering for each other. It definitely felt like we were a little team, and yeah, just the support between all of us was so great. I loved that group. Me and my coach kept saying like how lucky we are to be in that group. We had like just little jokes, like Gabby, she was the one that was like the bar chalker up person, and one day she wasn't there, and so all of us were like, oh no, what do we do? We managed our bar routines, don't worry. But such a nice group. Absolutely loved them. And then within Team Jamaica, my roommate was called Ebony, and she was a judo player, and she's the first ever judo player for Jamaica, so shout out Ebony, making history. And she was just hilarious, the most talkative person of all time, and that's coming from me. And just like one of the funniest things that happened was I said to her, oh, I've got some interviews, so just like if you come in the room, just FYI kind of thing. So she was getting ready. This was actually open ceremony day, so she was like, oh, I'll just get ready in the bathroom. So she's one of those people that doesn't mind just like walking around naked and stuff, and I mean it was all girls in our apartment, so it wasn't a big deal. So she's in the bathroom getting ready, and I'm doing my interview on Zoom, so I had the camera sort of facing the room because that was like the better light. And anyway, mid-interview, and Ebony walks in a yellow thong and no top It was so funny. I was like crying with laughter, and the poor guy that was interviewing me was like, turn your camera off, turn your camera off. So I'm like trying to turn my camera off while like crying, and she didn't even really mind. She was just like, oh no, but like that was it. And once she knew it wasn't live, she was so chilled about it, and it was just so funny. Like every day I would bring it up and be like, do you remember when you walked in the back of my interview almost naked? But thank God it wasn't live. It was so funny, and she's a legend. And then also 2 other girls in my apartment were Alia, and she's a 5-time Olympian swimmer for Jamaica. So come on, that speaks for itself. What a legend. Just unbelievable, and just such a humble, lovely, warm, supportive person. Yeah, just legendary. And then the other person who I got on with really well in our apartment was Megan, who just yesterday or the day before got Olympic bronze, Jamaica's first ever medalist in the 100-meter hurdles. So she killed it. But before that, she was just honestly so sweet. She came to me and when she found out about my knee and just gave me all these words of encouragement. Really, really meant the world to me. I barely knew her at that point, like we just exchanged names, and then for her to come to me and literally it's like she prepared the speech, and it literally gave me chills because it was so meaningful. And then after the competition as well, she came to find me in the apartment and just congratulated me, and just one of those people that when they talk to you, they talk to like your soul, and she's just so sweet. And on my last night, it was the 4 of us, so Alia, Megan, Ebony and me, and we were just cracking jokes for like 2-3 hours, and that was one of my highlights. And I just felt like this is Team Jamaica, and I am so happy to be a part of this team, and especially like these strong women, to be surrounded. Yeah, what an honour. Okay, couple more questions about, am I retiring, am I going for Paris, am I going for Commonwealth Games? So I'm not sure 100%. I'm kind of one of those people that just takes it a step at a time. So first step is get the surgery and get the rehab going on my knee, and then from there I am hoping to do Commonwealth Games. I think it would just be a really perfect way to end my career. For different reasons, I've never got to do Commonwealth Games, and it's always kind of been on the bucket list. And the next Commonwealth Games is in Birmingham in the UK, so all of my family and friends can come and watch. And obviously you kind of have that similar Olympic experience with multi-sports, but this time hopefully we'll have a crowd, and hopefully we'll be able to enjoy watching other sports and just get the less COVID experience. So I do think it would be a really nice way to sort of wrap my career up in a nice ribbon. And I mean, as I say that means I'm not planning on Paris, but never say never. People that I met and admire was Shelly-Ann Fraser, so obviously incredible sprinter from Jamaica, and she took the silver in the 100 metres. Also Johan Blake, he didn't have his best competition out there, but someone I've always thought was a cool character, and obviously has some incredible achievements in the past. And also Andy Murray, that was pretty cool to meet him. He was lovely. We were coming out of the dining hall and then walking the same direction, so I asked for a picture, took it, and then we were walking the same direction, so he like could see my knee brace and was asking me about my injury, and just, yeah, really lovely. I wish Usain was there, but don't think he actually was there in the end. But I have met him before, so that's okay. Yeah, I don't think there was anyone else particular that I would have been desperate to meet, but just, yeah, obviously everyone out there is incredible. They've made it to the Olympics. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. Hopefully you made it to the end of the video, and if you have, thank you. Hopefully that's answered some of your questions. So comment down below what else you'd want to see from me. Would you like to see some of my sort of knee journey? Now getting back to, well, surgery and then rehabbing it. I've also just moved in with my fiance officially, because before that I was sort of living between the 2 places. One's close to my training and this is a bit further. So if you want to see videos of him, see if I can drag him into some, let me know. But yeah, if you want to see anything in particular, please let me know. Comment down below, like, share, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.